Welcome to the Transactional Analysis e-learning program. My name is Paul Puckridge. I'm the Training Director here at the Success Institute, and I'd like to thank you for taking a little bit of time to watch this e-learning program. In this program, we'll be talking about a very famous piece of psychological research called transactional analysis. And this process was developed by a gentleman called Dr. Eric Berne, who went on to study this in great detail, and since that time there's been a number of different books written on this idea of transactional analysis, one of which you can see on your screen by Thomas A. Harris, which is I'm Okay, You're Okay. The idea in transactional analysis is that as adults we have three different modes by which we think, act, behave and communicate, and they are the parent mode, the child mode and the adult mode. In other words, we can transact as a parent, as a child or as an adult. As a parent, we communicate very much like a parent would to a child. Now that might be acceptable at home when you're dealing with a 2-year-old, but I think you'd agree it isn't really acceptable to communicate like a parent when you're speaking to a colleague or a customer. Likewise, if you are a child and you're 4 or 5 or 6 or maybe even 10, you're going to communicate a certain way. It's expected because you're a child. But it's not the way we should communicate when we are 25 years of age or 55 years of age for that matter. The correct method of communicating if you are an adult is as an adult. Unfortunately, we've all had life experiences which can leave us behaving in a certain way which isn't always acceptable. So to demonstrate this, let me describe a typical conversation that goes on in many workplaces where one person, we'll call him Jack, speaks to Jill. And this is called a parent-to-child transaction. And in reply, Jill speaks back to Jack just as she would if she was a child. So Jack says, "That proposal was hopeless. You're always late. You can never do this right," or something to that effect. He's very unhappy and disapproving. And Jill would say something like, "Well, shut up. Do it yourself next time. I'm too busy for this sort of work. Why do you always pick on me?" So that's a classic parent-to-child transaction, where one person becomes the aggressor, is disapproving, and speaks down to his or her staff member. Parent-to-child. While that's a typical transaction, sometimes we can also see parent-to-child where we have a doting parent. "Don't worry, leave it to me, I'll fix it all up, you go back to your work," and that's a person who perhaps has very low self-esteem and is wanting to curry favor with someone by taking on their workload. Another transaction is child to parent, and the reply could be parent to child. So in this case, the staff member says, "How will I get this done today? I'm already too busy. I can't do it. I'm overloaded. This stupid computer." Often when you hear things like, "You stupid computer, nothing ever works for me, why did you give me this thing to do?" Can you hear the frustration in the voice? That's the inner child. Now, sometimes when we speak like that, we often have our manager will reply back just like a parent would. "Well, I know you can do it, good on you, I believe in you," or "just be quiet and get on with the work." So if I just go back a step, the transaction is the child to the parent, the reply parent to the child. So this lady's saying, "How will I get it done today? I'm too busy, I'm overworked, I can't do it, I don't have the resources, help, I'm frustrated." And when we say that, we often get back from someone else, the parent talking, which is, "Don't worry, it'll be okay, just do your best," which is the doting parent, or "Don't be so stupid, just get on with the job, you've got all the resources that you need," or "I don't care, you've got no more time, it's got to be done by Thursday." We then have a transaction where we speak adult to adult. And this is by far the best way that we should be communicating. So in this case, one person says, hey, we've got a problem with the plans. The other person replies, what's the problem? Now, obviously I'm using tone here because tone is such a big part of the way we communicate. Let's just take a moment and have a look at this scenario. There is a problem with the plans. So this lady with the orange hard hat is stating that there's a problem. He doesn't have a problem. We don't have a problem, but there is a problem. The gentleman with the blue hat then says, well, what's the problem? Tell me about it. Let me have a look at it. What do you think the issues are? If this was parent to child, it could go something like this. The woman could be saying, John, you've got a problem with those plans and you've got to get that sorted out before we start laying down the concrete. And the child might say, what do you mean problems? I've gone through it 5 times already. There's no problems at all. It must be something that you're doing wrong. Ever had one of those conversations before? Or it could be child to child. I've got no idea how we're going to finish these plans in time. We've got all these things coming in. We've got the concrete coming in. We've got the builders coming in. We've got the electricians coming in. How are we going to cope? And then the child with the blue hat says, well, how the heck should I know? You know, I'm overworked and I'm busy too. But in this situation, we have adult to adult, which is there's a problem with the plans. What's the problem? In this case, they're focusing on the issue, not the person. And this is the best type of communication. Parent to child, adult to adult. In other words, what I'm wanting you to take away from this lesson is that when someone calls you up and is upset, or someone calls you as either a child or a parent, your response should always be adult to adult. This computer system isn't working. Okay, what seems to be the problem? I hate calling help desk. You never solve my problems. Can I have your name and let me see if I can help you? In other words, regardless of how we are approached, our response should always be adult to adult. Listen, here, do you know who I am? I've got the power to make your life hell. Well, that's the inner parent talking. We've also got child to child. You're a jerk. No, you're a jerk. In this situation, we have someone talking as an adult. I can't have it done by Thursday, but I can have it done by Friday lunchtime. Would that be okay with you? So, what I want to leave you with today is an understanding that we need to communicate more as adults and less as children and less as parents. As adults, we must use assertive and empowering communication. We focus on the behavior, not the person. We talk about what we want in an assertive way without having to revert to using parent language or child language. That's by far the best way to get cooperation from anybody we're dealing with. Thank you so much for watching this short video. This is the end of the lesson, but if you'd like to know more about transactional analysis or you'd like us to help you in some other way, please send us an email or give us a phone call and we'd be happy to help you. Until then, enjoy every success using adult to adult communication.